first off, Dr. O'Connor, just share a little bit about your business and what you do.
So we are a little veterinary practice on the east coast of Central Florida, and we have a number of different communities. We're sort of a small town with all the different demographics of a big city, and I'm I'm proud that we serve all those communities, and we try to do it affordably with really good care, which boils down to um, being flexible with clients and offering them the very best, because you can't tell who looks like Mick Jagger and has his bank account, So you offer everybody the best you can, and you sort of, you follow their eyes and you try to figure out where they can go with you. And then try to craft a solution that's best for them to take care of these little, beings that wind up being, emotional pillars in our life, right? Little grace wrapped in fur. So it's a big responsibility, right? To be in that area of trust for somebody's loved one effectively. So that's what we do. We're a bunch of, benignly eccentric people in our little hospital who figure out ways to help people that they can afford.
Absolutely. Awesome. So before partnering with Beyond Just You, what was your main concern about partnering with Beyond Just You and having a recruiting company?
Maybe another way to ask that question is, why didn't I do it for such a long time? Because I spent, maybe 2 years really putting more time and effort than I had to give into trying to find more vets. And, it takes away from you being able to do a better job if you're divided. So my chief barriers were probably just cost. You think, oh gosh, what if I get somebody and it doesn't work out? Then I've spent all this money on a recruiter. And when you do the math, if you can get somebody for that price, it's well worth it, So here we are, and it's been great because you guys have really, you're a team to help you onboard that person as well, right? And so that's made it a lot easier because you develop a skill set as a vet. Maybe or maybe you don't have the skill set of really transitioning people into your job, but to have the points you guys bring to the table, if nothing else, is a sounding board. It's just really helpful.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Now, where were you, and you kind of answered this a little bit, but where were you in your recruiting process before you started working with us?
I mean, I'd probably been looking for a vet for 2 years, right? And didn't know exactly where to look, and had a lot more random chance of finding the right person than I did with somebody dedicated to finding the description that I had given, right? So I was I guess I've given up, right? Just going, well, shoot, I've tried this for 2 years. It ain't working. What am I doing wrong? How can I do it better? Yeah.
And what did you find as a result of working with Beyond Just You?
Well, Sam, you're great, and it's just been a really easy relationship, right? Because you really, the key word I'll keep coming back to is partners. And one of the worries with people hiring headhunters is that you hear that you never see them again, after you give them the money, that sort of thing, or you never see them again after you've hired the client. But you guys really have a different process, and the process is to find the person, help them transition to your practice, and help them be successful. And with all the busyness of practice and all the other things you have to do, having somebody cue you for the next step, and then sort of trying to find the right metaphor. I'm holding your hand, a sounding board, a body of expertise. Like these are all things it involves, right? But it's really all those things with a relationship with a group that you can trust because you're on the same team, right? And I think nuts in a nuts and boltsy way, the price structure you guys have of when you do which payments helps make that a reality. Um, but also, it's just the folks you have working for you, and they're just very. I'm struggling to come up with the right metaphors. Responsive, yes, but more than that, it just feels like a team. I think is the way that describes it best.
I definitely agree. I think you and I are a great team, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I do. Yeah, no, I get the first bet, and really, it's well, okay. What's our teamwork going to look like for the next 5 years to get the practice from where it is to where it needs to be, so I don't work myself into the ground, right?
Yeah, you got a family, you got to stay above ground for.
Right, right. Yeah,
And I genuinely, when I say I'm coming and flying down for your grand opening, I'm going to be there with a big old bow and bells and whistles on and just ready to celebrate. I'm super excited. So, and I mean, that's a year from now still. So we're talking a 2-year partnership with us.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, and I think it'll go on longer. I mean, it's and you guys, it's just again, I know numbers are funny in a testimonial because not everybody's, you know, the numbers are what they are, which is that there's 17 jobs for every vet,
Mhm.
and it's very hard to find people. And if you're a small practice, it's it's very competitive. Sure, you have an anti-corporate sentiment in your favor, maybe, but is that sentiment going to override the $100,000 bonus that they're going to get from a big corporation, right? So I think again that comes back um, to have a partner that is figuring out who you're looking for and going out and finding them, to find that body of people who's attracted to the description of yourself that you've put out there is really gosh, it just it cuts through so much. And while that's happening, you can go and be a doctor and you know uh, do what you need to do.
Allows you to focus on your work, and I do my
Pretty,
job, you do yours, and then
yeah, it's trust, right? Um, and yeah, it's just a good relationship. It's trust, and it comes down to a personal level of you know, I guess the trust is foundational, and then it's rapport, and that just helps all the communication that needs to happen between me and you, uh, so that it can, uh, so that you can get the people who are actually going to be happy in your practice. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? It's that money only papers over very small problems. Like that's been one of the things I've learned, whether you're hiring a vet or whether you're hiring a technician. If people are unhappy, you can't afford to make them unhappy. you know, it's it's not feasible. So what do you find? You find people that are, I jokingly say the same flavor of crazy that you are, right? People that are not gonna that are gonna enjoy working with you. Um, and that's not everybody. That's fair enough, right? There's all sorts of different people out there, and yeah, having you guys recognize the traits in myself that I can't see, and go and look for people that would work well with those traits is yeah, really helpful.
awesome. Well, Dr. O'Connor, so what specific feature of our partnership have you liked the most so far?
It's a friendship, right? You know, uh, and how do I say this? You you're in. you're in business. But I keep coming back to trust, uh, because to have somebody who you relate to and have a rapport with is, it's just foundational. And yeah, you need to rely on the skills of the person of you who was brought on to help. Um, but sorry, I'm hemming and hawing about how to describe this because it makes it natural, right? Uh, to have conversations that sort of help figure out uh, who you are in a way that's at ease. Um, you can't do that with a questionnaire, you know. You can't do that with a spreadsheet. Obviously, you can't. You know, you have to get to know somebody, and so you guys sort of getting to know me, and by implication, getting to know the folks that I've sort of brought into my orbit here, right? Uh, Really, it's a vision that you can give to people of the place they'll be working in, and yeah, it's really helpful to get people who you like as well, right? Gosh, so they stick around, right? Yeah, and hopefully they'll be here for their whole career. And then that's the next step is to uh, I've been called a life coach without boundaries, right? So uh,
Yeah.
to to figure out how to most supportively mentor people, um, in a way that just helps them dream, helps them plan, and doesn't make them feel necessarily obligated or bound, but just susses out how you can help them and how you can support them. Like that's a function that some places would have an HR department to do. And we're not big enough, right? We're 15 people and three vets now, thanks to you guys instead of two vets. And so, yeah, you guys have helped coach me in the next step, and there will be several of those. You know, so your relationship goes for chiefly the first 6 months or 10 months after you've hired somebody. And that's really just such a crucial time to have a sounding board to go, this is what I'm doing. Do you see anything that I'm really dramatically missing? And, what do you think I'm doing well? And to have somebody prod you to do more of things that, you know, you think are trivial, but are really important to a person who's coming on board and looking for your guidance.
Great. Love it. Yeah, I definitely think, it is just one other aspect of our personalized care that we provide where our goal is to definitely bring somebody in who is going to stay with the team long term. And a part of that is making sure that the whole team is on board with the goals that each person has, and just knowing that and reiterating that and having the ability, we still continue our partnership as well in coaching and bringing on your new hire and making sure they're happy and getting and achieving the goals that you set together.
Yeah, and that is really what separates you from what you think of as a classical recruiter. It's that it's a year-long relationship that, 3/4 of it is after the hire, or at least half of it, 3/4 of it. Yeah. So it's setting you up for success after the hire because it doesn't help if you get somebody in and then they crash and burn.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good. Now, Dr. O'Connor, would you recommend Beyond Just You to any other business owner? And if so, why?
Yeah, absolutely. And in a nutshell, it's because I don't have the time to do what you guys do, and you guys are a trusted friend and partner to help me get this place to where it needs to be, so that I can be a vet, but also enjoy my family and my kids, right?
Yep. Still got to be a dad and a husband. You
Yeah,
wear many hats, that's for sure.
right.
Awesome. Well, is there anything